The Jackson County Sheriff believes Nolan Wells died from an accidental drowning.
Nearly 1 month since the body of a Mississippi teen, Nolan Wells, was found. His family is still looking for answers to explain his mysterious death.
He made his family salmon for dinner the night before he left. His mother hugged him, kissed him, and watched him walk out the door. His best friend, who ended up on a different boat to the same island that same day, said that when he finally found Nolan in the crowd on the beach that afternoon, Nolan walked up to him and said, "I love you," just like that. Not goodbye, not see you later. It was the last thing Calvin Williams heard him say. It was the last time anyone who loved Nolan Wells has confirmed seeing him alive. Nolan Xavier Wells was 18 years old. He was a wide receiver on his college football team. He had just graduated high school in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and was heading into his future with the specific momentum of a young man who had earned it. On July 4th, 2026, he went to a barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast to celebrate the holiday with friends. He did not come home. His body was found 2 days later in the water off the northwest tip of Horn Island. The cause of his death remains officially undetermined. The investigation is active.
Latest on Nolan Wells, that Mississippi 18-year-old found dead this month after a boat trip with friends.
The questions surrounding his final hours are multiplying, not resolving. And this case, which started as a missing person report on a federal holiday, has become one of the most discussed, contested, and politically charged disappearances in America. In 2026, Nolan Xavier Wells grew up in Ocean Springs, a small coastal Mississippi city just east of Biloxi on the Gulf Coast. He was a multi-sport athlete at Ocean Springs High School, the kind of player that coaches talk about not just for the athletic ability, but for the presence he brought to a team. He graduated in 2025. On National Signing Day in February 2025, he sat with his teammates at a table covered in letters of intent and told a local news crew, "It's truly a blessing being here with some of my best friends and teammates. Most of us are all going to college together." He enrolled at Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he played wide receiver. His head football coach at Ocean Springs, Jake Bramlett, said after Nolan's death that the program was devastated. The Ocean Springs School District said the community was shocked and heartbroken. The people who knew Nolan Wells describe him in the specific, individual terms that are the only real antidote to a story becoming only about what happened to someone instead of who they were. His mother, Christine Wansley, described the night before he left for the island. He cooked salmon for the family. He hugged her. He kissed her. He left. She told reporters afterward, it was a hug, kiss, and he left. His father, Elmore Wansley, has stood at press conference podiums in the weeks since, next to civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton, and asked the same question in different forms every time. Crump, whose firm has previously represented the families of Trayvon Martin.
Well, we want to not speculate, but we want to investigate to what happened to Nolan Wells.
The family held a press conference at the National Action Network headquarters in New York on July 10th. "We will not rest until every fact about what happened to Nolan on Horn Island is brought into the light," Crump said. Elmore Wansley stood at the microphone and asked, "We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home."
We are completely focused, completely laser focused on getting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Horn Island is not easy to get to. It sits approximately 10 miles offshore from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, accessible only by boat, with no facilities, no permanent residents, and no infrastructure. It is part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore, a federally protected wilderness area of white sand beaches and undisturbed shoreline. On the 4th of July, It draws hundreds, sometimes thousands, of boaters from across the Gulf Coast. It is loud in the way of an outdoor party with no address. Hundreds of strangers, dozens of boats anchored close together, music, alcohol, children, and no reliable cell signal. No rangers are stationed on the island overnight. There are no cameras, no facilities, and no record of who is there or when they leave. If you wanted to choose a location where something could happen and nobody would have a clear account of it afterward, you would be hard-pressed to choose somewhere better. According to marine resource data reviewed by investigators, the boat Nolan Wells was traveling on arrived at Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. on July 4th. The group spent hours on the island. At some point in the mid-afternoon, the situation on the boat changed. It was taking on water. A teenager from the group called a private towing company called CALLBACK at approximately 4 p.m. Audio of that call, released in late July 2026, captures a frantic scene. You can hear the caller saying, "We're sinking. Can you all please come?" The CALLBACK dispatcher can be heard relaying details to the captain.
Hey, yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's saying the boat is sinking. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. I'm guessing they're all under 18. The boat problem is established, documented fact, confirmed by the call recording and by the Garmin GPS data from the vessel, which investigators reviewed with verbal consent from its owner. What happened to Nolan Wells in the window around that distress call and afterward is where the documented timeline ends and the open questions begin. According to Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter, witnesses told investigators that Wells chose to remain on Horn Island because he believed he would be able to get a ride back to the mainland with a different group. His friends left without him. That evening, his mother, Christine Wansley, discovered he was missing when one of his friends told her. She reported him missing to authorities. She had also been tracking his phone's location using the Life 360 app. That phone, a critical piece of this case, was not with Nolan when his body was found. On the morning of July 6, 2026, 2 days after Nolan went missing, a National Park Service ranger found his body in the water off the northwestern tip of Horn Island. A multi-agency search had been underway involving the U.S. Coast Guard, the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, the Gulf Islands National Seashore, and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Dental records confirmed identification. The Jackson County coroner, Bruce Lind, told CBS News there were no immediate, obvious signs of foul play or trauma on the body. But the waters around Horn Island are warm, the current moves, and a body in the Gulf in July deteriorates rapidly. The official autopsy by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office was conducted on July 7th. Its results were not publicly released. The family commissioned their own independent autopsy. Their results were announced on July 22nd. The finding, cause and manner of death, undetermined pending further investigation. The independent forensic pathologist, Dr. Joy Carter, noted that advanced decomposition and the fact that the body had already undergone an official autopsy significantly limited what could be determined.
Official autopsy and the death of Nolan Wells has been completed.
The family's position, articulated clearly by Ben Crump, is that the undetermined finding is not a conclusion. It is an opening. It means the question of what happened to Nolan Wells on Horn Island on July 4th, 2026 has not been answered by any forensic examination to date. Nolan's family has also pointed to a detail the sheriff's own statement raised. He was the only black member of his friend group on the boat. That detail has framed the public conversation around this case in a way that is impossible to separate from its broader context. The family, represented by Crump and joined by civil rights activist Reverend Al Sharpton, held a press conference at the National Action Network headquarters in New York on July 10th, demanding a thorough and transparent investigation.
We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
We will not rest until every fact about what happened to Nolan on Horn Island is brought into the light, Crump said. Before we get to the evidence that has been most disputed, the viral video, the mystery girl, the phone, I want to take 5 seconds. This case broke at the end of June 2026. It has already been covered by CNN. A case this recent and this contested needs sustained coverage. Subscribing means this channel can follow it properly as the grand jury convenes and the autopsies are released. 2 seconds. Now, the phone. Here is the detail that the Wells family says matters most and that investigators have not publicly addressed. Nolan's phone was not found with his body. According to his mother, Christine Wonsley, she tracked it using the Life 360 app after the group returned to shore, and the phone was in someone else's possession on the mainland. The family says the phone was returned to them. Attorney Ben Crump has stated publicly that when the family examined it, they believe messages, Snapchat messages specifically, had been deleted before the phone was returned.
So when we made it home, my sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone, particularly Snapchat, because that is so popular. And when we opened it up, there was nothing.
Investigators have not publicly confirmed or denied whether messages were deleted or who had access to the device. The sheriff's office has asked anyone with original, unedited photos or videos from Horn Island on July 4th to come forward. A civil lawsuit notice sent to multiple individuals, dated late July 2026, directs recipients to immediately preserve all evidence and suspend any automatic deletion functions on their devices. Then there is the video. In the days after Nolan's death, a video recorded near Horn Island on July 4th began circulating on social media. In it, someone can be heard yelling in what sounds like a heated argument, demanding their phone back, using specific language. Attorney Ben Crump held a press conference in which he cited the video and stated that multiple people had identified the voice as Nolan, saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you doing?" The implication was clear. Nolan's voice on a July 4th video in an argument about a phone on an island he didn't come home from. But then, on July 13th, one of Nolan's own friends, Tracyston Shepard, came forward and told ABC's Good Morning America that the voice in the video was his, not Nolan's.
So now to the latest on the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. For the first time since Wells' body was found, we're hearing from a friend of the 18-year-old who was with him on the day that he died.
The video remains unverified by law enforcement. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office confirmed it is investigating reports of an alleged altercation on the island and has asked for footage specifically depicting any such altercation. And then there is the girl. Sheriff Ledbetter told investigators that witnesses said Nolan stayed on the island to continue talking with a young woman he had met. According to reporting by News Nation, that woman was subsequently identified as 19-year-old Katie McCormack. Her sister, Gracie McCormack, disputed the account that Nolan had intentionally stayed on the island to talk to Katie, saying he had in fact left on the boat. That contradiction, did Nolan stay willingly, or did he leave and something happened after, is one of the central unresolved questions of the investigation. Katie McCormack has not given a public interview. Let's be clear about what investigators actually have. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office has interviewed approximately 60 witnesses. They have the Garmin GPS data from the boat. They have the CTO audio call from 4 p.m. on July 4th. They have whatever digital evidence the FBI has assisted in examining. They have 2 autopsies, one official, results not yet public, one independent, result undetermined. They have video and photo evidence submitted by the public that they are still processing. And they have a witness landscape that is complicated by the fact that many of the people on Horn Island that day were teenagers, some of whom have now received credible threats and are afraid. Mississippi Department of Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tyndall confirmed in late July that those threats include threats against the families of the teenagers who were with Nolan. Jackson County Chancery Judge Ashley Cole, whose stepson was one of the 3 teens on the boat. District Attorney Angel Myers McElrath has stated publicly that this case is being treated as a priority and that upon conclusion of the investigation, findings will go before a grand jury. A grand jury can subpoena witnesses who have declined to speak voluntarily. It can compel testimony under oath. It can review evidence that has not been made public. The family's attorney, Ben Crump, met with McElrath in mid-July. Civil lawsuit letters have since been sent to multiple individuals, directing them to preserve all evidence. Those letters create a paper trail around specific people and specific devices, and they signal that the family intends to pursue accountability through every available legal channel if the criminal process does not produce it first. The legal and investigative machinery is in motion. What it will produce and when, and because misinformation has spread rapidly, it matters to be precise about what is and is not established. Here is what is documented and confirmed by named law enforcement officials or by court records. What we know: Nolan Wells arrived on Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. He was last seen near the island around 3 p.m. per the sheriff's office. The boat he arrived on had a malfunction, confirmed by the CTO audio call and Garmin GPS data. His friends left the island without him. His phone was not found with his body. His body was recovered on the morning of July 6th, 48 hours after he was last seen. Both autopsies have produced results that do not establish cause of death. What is disputed or unconfirmed: whether Nolan's phone contained deleted messages, whether the altercation captured in the circulating video involved Nolan. One of his own friends says it did not. Whether Nolan chose to stay on the island willingly or left on a boat. The girl at the center of that question has not spoken publicly and accounts conflict. Whether any individual bears criminal responsibility for Nolan Wells' death. No charges have been filed. No arrests have been made, and no law enforcement agency has publicly named a suspect. Anything beyond these documented facts in social media posts, in rumor, in speculation is not verified. The sheriff's office has explicitly asked the public to refrain from spreading unverified information. At the start of this video, I told you what Calvin Williams heard Nolan say the last time he saw him alive. "I love you." That's not a goodbye. That's not a signal that something was wrong. That's an 18-year-old saying what he felt to the person he felt it for, on a beach on the 4th of July, with the afternoon ahead of him, and no reason to believe it wouldn't end like every other summer afternoon ends. He walked off that beach. He did not come home. And the people who were there that day, some of them friends of Nolan's, some of them strangers, are now living inside a legal process that will determine whether anyone is held responsible for what happened next. Christine Wansley has said publicly that she wants an honest investigation. She is not asking for a predetermined outcome. She is asking for transparency. We want it to be an honest, thorough investigation. That's all we're asking for, she told reporters. Elmore Wansley has stood beside her at every press conference. Nolan's father stood at a podium in New York and ask the question that is the only question that matters. Why didn't his son come home? Nolan Xavier Wells was 18 years old, who may or may not have seen what happened next, and then he walked away. That is the last moment anyone who loved him has confirmed seeing him alive. He was 18 years old. He had his whole future in front of him. The investigation is ongoing. The grand jury has not yet convened. No charges have been filed. If you want to follow this case as it develops, and it will develop, because a grand jury is coming, civil suits have been filed, and the FBI is involved. Subscribe.